Hi, everybody. Welcome to this webinar called Traders' Mental Blind Spots, How Hidden Flaws in Our Decision-Making Affect Our Trading. And I want to thank everyone for coming in to listen to this today. I appreciate the time and effort you're taking to attend to this. And for those of you who don't know, my name is Gary Dayton, and I'm a trader, a day trader, mainly in the S&Ps and occasionally in crude oil. Excuse me, using the Wyckoff method of reading a chart by the price and volume. And I teach this to other traders as well. But I'm also a psychologist. I was trained as a clinical psychologist, meaning a psychologist that worked with people who had mental disorders like depression and anxiety and schizophrenia and addictions and those kinds of problems. I don't do that work any longer. I also was lucky to be able to work with a fellow who was also at the university that I was at as a psychologist, and who was the sports psychologist for Major League Baseball teams and an NBA team, and also a lot of professional tennis players, as well as other sport folks. So using that kind of human performance psychology, as well as my knowledge of other aspects of psychology, I wrote a book called Trade Mindfully. So I'm the author of that as well. So we're going to talk about psychology today, trading psychology today, and in particular, we're going to talk about our mental blind spots and how they can affect our trading. Now, note, I'm not really talking about fear and greed and hope and emotional hijackings, meaning when emotions get so much so much the better of us that we are acting out of emotions rather than out of good sound trading behavior. We'll touch on that a little bit, but primarily we're going to be talking about how our normal ways of thinking create problems for us. And now these ways of thinking do indeed create, or seed the ground, so to speak, for emotional hijackings. So, but not specifically about that. So our talk today is going to be about traps in our decision making that then lead us on to or come before the emotional hijackings, where we're trading on emotions rather than what the chart or our indicators are telling us. So if you have let's go over what we're going to cover, but if you have questions, go ahead and ask them as we go along. Better to ask me then rather than at the end, because it's hard to go back to slides and what have you. Are these slides for this seminar? Thanks. I'm not sure what the question is about there. Anyway, so let's talk about what we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about two sides to our thinking. We're going to start by looking at kind of two ways to categorize our thinking. We have a quick, intuitive side to our thinking, and also a much slower, deliberative side. And both sides are really important for a trader to understand. So we'll start with that. We'll talk about some examples, starting off with a look at everyday decision making and how the same approach, our same thinking approach that we use in daily life, we just sort of import that into our trading. But this is the cause of many, many, many trading problems. And from there, we'll talk about certain features or characteristics of problem thinking and how it occurs over and over and over again. But knowing these helps a trader start to improve on their decisions. I'll highlight the key mental blind spots that are common in trading. You've probably heard of some of them you probably haven't. But I'll highlight the ones that are most important in trading. And then we will wrap up at the end with some steps that a trader can take so that we can think more clearly and not become hijacked by our faulty thinking, and so that we can put ourselves into the best mental space for better trading. Okay. Okay, I don't know the answer to that question. So to start with, we're going to take a test. All right. Now I know I hate tests too, but being a psychologist, we do like tests, especially when other people are taking them. So I'm not going to take this one, you guys will, but it'll help explain some of the mental blind spots and why we have them. So I think you'll find it useful. So do your best on the test. It's actually only one question, and here it is. A bat and a ball cost $1.10 in total. The bat costs $1 more than the ball. Now, how much does the ball cost? So just type your answer in here. And just see what people put in. And you don't need to spend a lot of time on this or do calculations or anything. Just consider the problem and give your best answer. Okay, there's a lot more of you here than are answering. So I really do encourage you to answer this. This is good. Okay. So the correct answer on this is 5 cents. And let me go through it. The bat is $1 more than the ball, right? And together they cost $1.10. So if the bat costs $1 more and everything costs, and altogether it costs $1.10, then the bat has to be $1.05 and the ball at 5 cents, and together they equal $1.10. All right. Now the answer is less important than the thinking process that you used. And don't feel bad if you answered 10 cents. This is how most people answer this question. Yeah, I remember the question. Arby says, I remember the question, but I forgot the answer. Yeah, that's okay. You want to go through this and actually, we have answers in here from most people said 10 cents. One person, a couple said, a few said 5 cents. One said $1.05, 60 cents, 90 cents. So in any event, yeah, I knew it was a trick. Well, yeah, it's not really a trick. The question pulls for a certain thing. And we do this in psychology. This is how we study stuff, right? How we figure out things. Anyway, most people answer incorrectly. They answer 10 cents rather than 5 cents. Even people from when this question was asked, and a couple of others like it, were given to students at Harvard, MIT, and Princeton, less than half of them were able to answer the questions correctly. Think about this. These are the elite schools, or some of the elite schools in the United States, and less than half of those students could answer those questions correctly. So it's really not an issue of IQ, right? It's not an issue of intelligence. What the researchers learned, however, in doing this was that the questions reflect a person's vulnerability to falling into mental traps and decision-making errors that we're going to talk about today, right? Now, and that's why this is important. Not so much a trick, but just to highlight the fact that it's so easy. Even the elite students, right, with high IQs, even they fall into this mental trap. That's how common it is. Now, people who answer correctly think it's difficult and challenging. People who answered incorrectly think it really wasn't that difficult a question. They came up with the answer quickly, And typically